the end result of what we're trying to accomplish is more important than listening to the fear. You ever secretly convinced yourself that all the things that are in your normal day are the reason why you can't do that thing that you've been fearing? Okay, hear me out. I'm tired, that there's a million dishes in the sink, I've got laundry, the dog needs the things, I gotta go get groceries, all those things. Those are life things for sure. But then at some point you stop and you're like, God, why do I never have the time to do any of my creative work? And then all of a sudden it kind of dawns on you that, wait, maybe I'm actually kind of procrastinating. Here's the thing that's really creepy about fear, right? Is that it can be really all the excuses, and I say this in this because it truly is they're valid. All the reasons why you're not doing the things are valid things to do, especially if you're a person who either lives on your own, so you do everything by yourself, on your own, or for whatever reason, right? And this happens. So what the heck is going on? How do we make time for these things? How do we make time for the creative works that we want to do? And not only that, is how do we make time to make them a priority and move through the fear that secretly is you know what you still have to do? You still have to do the dishes. You know what you still have to do? You still got to do the laundry. Oh, and you know what? Your dog probably needs to go to that. Oh, and you know what? You still have to make food today. Yeah, I know. I know. It's a fear loop. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm MJ. I am your poet and creative director and your confidence coach. That's what I am. I'm here to talk about how we convince ourselves, we logic ourselves into the fear loop. Yeah. No shame. I do it. I still do it. Actually, for the last 2 weeks, I've been doing it. But here we are. We're here. We're here to address it. That's what we're doing today. Fear is a master of disguise. It's very much a master of disguise. It shows up as fatigue. It shows up as it's not the right time. It shows up as any amount of reasonable caution, right? I once had a mentor coach that said that our minds will logic their way out of anything, because the point is to keep us safe. And if we're doing stuff to push the envelope of safety, and that's the wrong word for this, push the envelope in fear. And the fear response is a safety response, right? So the reason why we have fear is because something doesn't feel safe, right? And that could be reading a poem at open mic, or going and performing something at an open mic that you've never done before, or publishing your first work, or inquiring, or asking a gallery whether they would like to have an exhibit of yours, right? Those are all kind of scary things, right? There's some form of something that happens in your body that's you know what? This doesn't feel right. It's not known. We don't know what's going to happen. The rejection could be there. That's terrifying, right? All these things. So personally, this is an example of what happens to me. So I, for the longest time, wanted to read a story of mine on stage and all that stuff. And I worked on it, and I kind of tried to memorize it, which I'm terrible at memorizing things, so that was kind of a learning curve a little bit. And I got up to practice in front of some friends of mine, and the moment I got up to practice, it was all gone. It was every word that I had learned was gone. gone. And spoiler alert, the place that I inquired to do this didn't end up like wanting me to read, but I ended up doing instead going and reading my poetry at an open mic. That was also equally as scary. And the moment I got up there, I forgot what I was going to say. But instead of not having anything to say, I just had my book in front of me and I read. That's how I got around it. But the forgetting everything as soon as I got on in front of people that's a fear response. That's something that happens to a lot of us. And also the reason why a lot of people don't want to go on stage, because that's what they're afraid of. I was in a room full of safe people. I feel like people are going to be sick of me saying this, but people that I felt safe, staying in front of, not a bunch of critics in seats. But that's always important too. Same thing when I practiced my story, my speech. I was in front of people I knew and loved and knew that they weren't going to be like, meh, 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 so that's important for working on your nervous system for this kind of thing. But going back to the example with the laundry and the things, is that we need to, once we name the fear, right? And it's a priority-based kind of fear. It's like if we could put everything in front of it. It's like procrastination. It's exactly like procrastination, but it's fear-based procrastination. And what is procrastination? But like, I don't feel safe or comfortable, or some nervous system thing is going on that makes us not want to actually do the thing. One of a good practice that I had gotten into is kind of just saying it out loud, like, I see you. I see you, fear. I see you. And that's it. Like, I name it, I leave it there, I do the thing, right? And that seems to help, like, give it a little cushion. It's still scary, it's still the thing, right? But I can do some of those things in co-working spaces or body double with somebody, so that I'm doing some of the scary things with other people, and that's helpful. Curiosity is another really great tool for this. Fear can be one of the most, it's so sticky. Sticky is probably the best word I can think of. It's sticky and it's sneaky and it gets around corners you didn't realize that they were there, that it was there, But when we bring curiosity as a tool to figure out not only where our fear is, but like, how can we loosen that knot a little bit, right? Like where can we loosen the knot? I ask the question sometimes, like, what is my fear actually trying to protect me from? Like, is it trying to protect me from rejection? Should I give myself a little bit of like rejection exposure in a safe space to try to like get my, nervous system to be like, what, this is probably not the scariest thing we've ever done? And is that thing as dangerous as my body feels like it seems? This is where I feel like somatic work would be really great. I am not even anywhere close to being anywhere to give you any of those kind of resources, but if you know, and if you don't know, I would definitely look it up. It's basically, things you can do to like get your actual nervous system, your body nervous system, your fascia, all the nervous system response going from fight or flight to rest and reset. It's not just woo-woo, it actually is, there's some serious stuff to that. I really found that working on some of that stuff in the somatic, like body movement type of and breathing exercises type of stuff has actually helped my creativity quite a lot. Maybe someday, sooner than later, maybe I'll get somebody on and interview them and put them on here. I think that would be really helpful for some creatives. But if this is landing for you, this is exactly some of the patterns in the work that we do in my Creative Confidence community and also the program. It's a 4-week program. I won't probably have another one until August of this, probably late August or September of this year. But we really deep dive into a lot of the fear loop, and we had talked about the creative shame a few videos ago, so that one too. All that stuff is down below, but I'd really love for you to be in that community. It's a really safe space to explore some of these concepts and really work on some like exposure to like tiny steps towards acknowledging the fear and moving through it by posting the thing or having somebody in the community also like, I've been there, man, like totally, I got your back, like I can hold you accountable kind of thing, right? So community is so important. I also have a book called Confidence is a Verb. Just that one sentence. Sometimes I'll actually say that. I have a book called Confidence is a Verb, and actually recently somebody was like, I just needed to hear that. And I was like, fantastic. Confidence is a verb. We're moving forward, right? We're doing the confidence. We're moving through the fear and being brave despite, because the end result of what we're trying to accomplish is more important than listening to the fear. Fear, to close out, fear doesn't always like announce itself. It really is sneaky. It really can disguise itself as very mundane things. Not to say that those mundane things or the fact that there's really no time in your day is not valid. It's when I use the word excuse, and I do it like that on purpose because I used to hate it when my freaking mentor would say to me that I was using mundane everyday things as excuses not to. What she was really saying to me was that I wasn't prioritizing moving through that. I wasn't prioritizing the writing. I wasn't prioritizing getting published. I wasn't, because I will tell you what, I tend to be the type of person when I have something in my mind, I will make it, I will figure it out. I'll make it work. But the fear turns me into somebody that's like, well, I guess it's just not for me. What? What? What is that? When I was like, you know what, I'm going to learn how to skateboard. I learned how to skateboard. I made the time to do it. I was doing a million things. When I wanted to be a music journalist, I made the time. I was going to school. I had I was a full-time mom. I had a full-time job. I was going to school and trying to do, shows at the same time. Did I get any sleep? Hell no. But I made it work for the amount of time that it needed to be in my life. And so when I think of how long it took me to get back on stage, to start reading my poetry and start it to get into the public eye, I really do see that it was fear holding me back, not the lack of time that I had to do it. So that's everything for today, and make sure to like and subscribe if this is something that you want to hear more about. I am here for you, and you can do this. And I promise you that the fear is, the worst part is the first part of the fear. The part that tells you everybody's gonna hate you and leave you alone forever and you're gonna die alone. That part's the worst. And then once you get past the part where you do the thing, you're like, what was the big deal? And so I'm here to tell you you're amazing, you're awesome, you're magical, and you can do it. You can do it, for sure. Stick around. Check out my community. We'll hold each other accountable. Love your face.